Good morning, Hoosiers. Welcome to an all-new season of the Bloomington Breakfast Club. It's our 6th season and it's our 50th episode, and we're doing things a little bit differently. As you may have noticed, we don't have Juliana with us today. Instead, we're going to be having some co-hosts that are going to be swapping out throughout the season. So I'd like to introduce to you Caroline Parks.
Yes, hi, I'm so happy to be here today. We are in Bryan Hall interviewing Adam Tisse, Vice President of Capital Planning here at IU.
Yeah, and we're also going to be giving you some unnecessary updates, so grab your morning cup of coffee, Hoosiers. It's going to be a great morning. And now for the unnecessary updates. Caroline, what do you have for us today?
So, a UK patient having surgery on her right frontal lobe played the violin on request so the doctors wouldn't harm the area of her brain so she could preserve her talent.
Wow, that is commitment.
I know.
That's certainly a musical professional right there. I can't imagine how she'd be able to withstand the pain.
Exactly. You'd think they'd put people like under for those types of surgeries.
Exactly. But I mean, what do you do when she just requests, hey, can I play you a
Can I
little
play
song?
the violin
You know?
during surgery? That's so crazy.
Goodness gracious. But so she just played a whole song.
I guess. I wonder, is it like the charts that like probably light up and show them like where to not operate, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, goodness. I mean, the doctors had at least a song to go to. They didn't have to wear headphones or anything.
To while they're operating. Yeah, I guess.
There you go. Wow. Well,
right.
That's definitely crazy and out of the ordinary. But I don't know if you've seen, but there's recently been a big Twitter sort of trend going around about an Australian kid. He's been making these videos saying about how he was like bullied and stuff.
I did see that his mom made in the car.
Yeah, the kid's name is, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong because I couldn't find a pronunciation anywhere, but it was, I think, Caden Bales, perhaps. And
that sounds right.
Yeah, so he's getting a lot of good special treatment now, though.
I saw like even like the NRL donated and like asked him to like come out to one of their games and like introduce them, which was so awesome. That's so cool that he's getting that positive feedback.
Right, and it seems like there's a lot of a positive reinforcement. There's hashtags going around on Twitter supporting him and really just kind of helping him out.
There was a comedian too who like raised over $130,000. They're sending him to Disneyland, like he said, hopefully. So we'll see.
Well, that's every kid's dream, that's for sure. So that's pretty.
Definitely. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will officially end their royal duties on March 31st. So they're officially like detaching themselves from the royal family.
I didn't know that was allowed.
Me either. To be honest, I really didn't either. That's so crazy. But I think they're doing what's best for them and their son, which is what's important.
Just for me, I've always thought, you know, the statistical probability of being born into a royal family where, you know, you're loved by the entire country and, you know, you're just paraded around and stuff. I mean, it's so improbable. I just couldn't imagine throwing that away.
I thought Meghan wasn't very loved by like the press and stuff. I think it's like that's why, but I don't know. I could be mistaken.
Well, see, there you go. I don't keep up with the royal family at all. I mix up Prince Harry and Prince all of them.
I don't know the other one.
Yeah, but definitely it seems to be a very big move, and I'm kind of concerned how that's going to be with them.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So March 31st.
March 31st, we'll see what happens.
Save the date.
Yeah. Well, next up, we will be interviewing the Associate Vice President of Capital Planning here at IU, Adam Tisse. Stay tuned. Today we are joined by Adam Tisse, the Associate Vice President of Capital Planning here at IU. Thank you for coming and joining us.
My pleasure. Glad you could join us as well.
So first, we'd like to know, we did a little bit of background research on you, found out you did a lot of work in Indy, and we just kind of wanted to know like how you got involved in master planning and architectural design.
Great question. Boy, the story of my life, I guess. There you go. I probably go all the way back to being a young kid, and I just always loved cities. I loved going places. I have a very fond memory as a child. I grew up in Fort Wayne, so I'm a Hoosier by birth. And my father grew up in Wisconsin, and we would often go from Fort Wayne to Wisconsin and go through Chicago. And I have these very fond memories of taking trips through Chicago and seeing the Sears Tower and big cities. And I just was very fascinated about how things came together. And then later in life, an opportunity to get a degree emerged in city planning, which I did at Ball State University, and really just enjoyed the opportunity to think, how does all of this around us come together? Who does it? Why do they do it? How much does it cost? What does it look like? And so I spend my career in that kind of intersection of all of those questions. And so that's kind of how it all started, if you will.
I love that. That's so awesome. What kind of challenges did you face when switching from the Indy area to Bloomington?
Oh, that's a good question. So my wife was born and raised here in Bloomington, and that's one of the reasons we're here, and we're glad to be here. I have 4 children, so raising a family close by some parents, for all of you later in life, you'll realize that's
One day.
a good thing. But I would say that Indianapolis is a city, obviously the normal things, right? That it's a bigger place. It's got a bigger community of things that you can either do as a family or as an individual, but it's also not got the great charm of Bloomington and the small town. I mean, on a winter night where the lights are strung from the courthouse, it's kind of hard to beat Bloomington, right? It comes right out of a Norman Rockwell painting. It just looks like America, you know. And so I think in terms of challenges, I think there aren't as many challenges as much as just changes, right? You're in a different community. You're in a different professional community. While IU as a institution is large, the community at, let's call it 80 or 85,000 people in this town, isn't the same as a $1.7 million people in metropolitan Indianapolis. So you just start to become aware of that as you change and transition. But we're happy to be in Bloomington and glad to be here. So.
Well, pertaining to IU in Bloomington, are there any new construction plans or any kind of ideas coming out that the campus can be expecting in the near future?
Yeah, so when you think about the scale of what a place like Indiana University Bloomington is, and then even think about it in the scale of Indiana University as a system, right? We have other campuses. We have 3 what we call northern campuses, IU South Bend, IU in Gary, which we call IU Northwest, IU in Kokomo. Then we have a campus at IU East in Richmond, one down in New Albany, which we call IU Southeast. And then there are some satellite campuses. We have a small presence in Fort Wayne, and we have a small presence in Columbus, and then we have a School of Medicine building in Evansville. So when you look at it across our system, you're talking 30 to 35 million square feet of buildings. So, you know, it's a big enterprise with a replacement value of more than $8 billion if we had to replace it all. And so it's a big scale. When you're talking then about IU Bloomington and you're thinking about the future, we tend to try and do that planning work and then stick to the plan, if you will. And our last major plan for the entire campus was done about 10 years ago in 2010. And that's a plan that's published on the Vice President for Capital Planning and Facilities website, can be accessed by anyone. It's not a short read, but it will give you a very comprehensive picture of what we anticipate the campus to be. About a year ago, we did a brief update to that plan and of a couple of key areas where maybe some things had changed and you want to update a document like that. But you tend to try and make master plans that are going to give you guidance for more than 1 or 2 or 3 years. They're trying to make big decisions and big ways forward. I think in terms of specific projects, I'm sure all of you have a chance to walk around campus. We are at a very busy construction life. We're making improvements quite rapidly. Ballantine Hall will open up completely in August of this next year. The geology building has been largely shut down for a major renovation. Even more unique projects like a new carillon in the middle of the amphitheater, or in the middle of the arboretum, just opened and now chimes every quarter hour, right? As of yesterday. So We have a pretty big scale of work, but most of what we see on the horizon continues to be about student success, housing students on campus well, and making sure our faculty and staff have the best places to research and the best places to do their best work. So that's kind of our worldview, if you will.
Very
Great.
cool.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the coolest building on campus in regards to like
So
architecture?
so this is like the this is the proverbial "what's your favorite place on campus," right? You know,
Right.
Exactly.
And all
Something
of you,
like
as you
that.
get through your, all of you students, as you get through your years, you will then reminisce about your favorite place continually. It's part of the process. But I have two answers to that question. My favorite building is Maxwell Hall. I have always enjoyed its the decorative limestone elements, the really kind of whimsical little gargoyles, which are the little statues that kind of sit at the peaks of the roofs, and it just has a real presence that I just think is very much the old Crescent and Dunn's Woods, and really impressive. And then in terms of an exterior space, there are so many great landscapes on this campus, right? That people think are just random, but they're actually quite designed. Someone has thought about, how is this going to look? How are you going to feel in this space? And my favorite is actually just to the north of Franklin Hall. There's this grove of cypress trees being like evergreen trees. And you walk along the path along the Jordan, and if you do that, either right before or right after it has rained, it will kind of feel like a fog is there. And you walk through these cypress trees, and just that sense that you're in some place very magical, very unique. And you're walking along this little, what we call the Jordan River. It may be more of a creek at the end of the day, except for when we have big floods. But it's just a very magical landscape that I think sets us off as a campus, a place where students and faculty and staff can do their best work, right? We're not supposed to be an average place, right? We're supposed to be an excellent place, and I think our campus does that. We have an excellent place to live and learn. So,
Well, I definitely know that I'll be visiting that area
Good,
to
good.
see if
You
I
should.
can see the
You
vibe
should.
there.
Yeah, just
But-
and enjoy a night. As the weather gets better in the spring, it's a pretty magical place to just enjoy a little bit of your day. So,
Great. Well, thank you for all the information. We really appreciate it. Thanks for coming
yes,
on.
my pleasure.
Yeah,
Nice
thank
to
you
meet
so
you,
much.
and
It was so nice meeting
Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for the 50th episode of the Bloomington Breakfast Club. Be sure to follow all of our social media at B-Town B-Fast Club.
And if you're interested in joining our TBBC team, be sure to email Ellie at ekvanbus@iu.edu.
I'm Michael Skiles.
And I'm Caroline Parks.
See you next time, Hoosiers.